but what has been a limit is we take something that's as complex as the human body, which is profoundly complex, right? Like 70 trillion cells, give or take, and 100 times more than that of bacteria, yeast, virus, protozoa, and they're all doing about 1 trillion metabolic functions per second, and the communications across them. It's like, so we try and divide it into systems like gastroenterology, rheumatology, oncology, right? To try to understand those separately.
Right.
They're really not separate systems. So you were just describing a gut-brain axis dynamic where something that's happening in the gut can affect what's happening in your nervous system. And as we are diving deeper and deeper, we recognize inflammation in the gut can lead to inflammation in the blood that crosses the blood-brain barrier that creates neuroinflammation that can create depression, anxiety, neurodegeneration. We find that, of course, nutrient uptake in the gut, whether it's absorbing nutrient properly or not, those are the precursors to make neurotransmitters. That if the tight junctions in the gut are damaged, so toxins get to come in that shouldn't from food, then that can go into the brain. The enteric nervous system, the nerves that are in the gut, are actually giving feedback to the brain neurologically. The enteroendocrine system is affecting the hormone regulating system. So there's pretty much every one of the systems are interconnected very profoundly. And so you have to take a more comprehensive approach to support the regulatory system rather than trying to override it. And that's kind of the key concept is, rather than say, oh, something is out of range, like for instance, somebody's blood pressure is high, so let's give them a blood pressure med that lowers it. Well, this will make it to where their body's own ability to regulate blood pressure gets even worse, because in the process of overriding it, we're actually overriding the regulatory mechanisms of blood pressure. If instead you have the person exercise, what's happening is their blood pressure is actually spiking higher in the exercise, which is triggering in a regulatory response to lower the blood pressure, which is why when people exercise more, their blood pressure goes down. And so rather than say, how do we just, the body's out of range, how do we put it back in range? We say, no, what's insufficient in the body's regulatory dynamics? How can we support those so it self-regulates better? And so with neurochemistry, I don't want someone to have the same level of dopamine all the time or the same level of serotonin, because sometimes you want to be hyper motivated, sometimes you want to relax. And your body should actually be able to generate those chemicals based on context.